Good morning, lecturer, and hello, class. I am P. Putjanavati, the last member of group number 1. I am making this short presentation about clarifying and interpreting expressions and ideas. My parts will be divided into two parts. First is the purpose of the chapter, and second is the summary of the chapter. After my talk, there will be time for a discussion and any questions. Now turn to the first part of my talk, which is 5.6, the purposes of the chapter. Initially, clarification is very necessary for our understanding and comprehension during day-to-day communication. Furthermore, it is a form of reflection that seeks to get rid of ambiguity, confusion, or misunderstanding when we make contact. Generally, clarification in day-to-day communications improves connection and engagement because it increases trust and transparency. Moreover, it exposes purpose by unveiling expectation and it tells people exactly what you want. Lastly, it also helps testing your message and reduce misinterpretation and failure in communications. For example, if you encounter a situation in which someone is giving you a statement which is not clear enough because she or he did not provide any claim or reason, then you might need clarification on which term may be used or a certain claim that may be made. Throughout this chapter, we have learned many different methods of clarifying meaning with some procedure which will help you to clarifying what the author and the speaker meant. Nevertheless, the chapter does not require you to see the lack of clarity everywhere or that you should meet every claim or argument with the question, what do you mean? Since it is straightforward and you have to be aware that there are things that are better off undefined and not everything has to be explained. Even so, you need to be alive to the importance of vagueness, the lack of certainty, ambiguity, and so on, so that you can recognize it when it matters and then automatically ask the right question. This chapter has explained many different ways of clarifying expression of different purposes, and you will use this method when it is called for. So now we have come to the next point, which is 5.7, the summary. To summarize this chapter, a thinking map is very sufficient. First thing first, in order to be clarifying and interpreting expression and idea, first we must think of what exactly is the problem by making sure it was vague or ambiguous, which meaning is confusing or not clearly understood, or does it have several meaning, or does it lack example, or maybe something else. Secondly, we must know who the audience is and the background of the knowledge or belief that they can be assumed to have. Knowing your audience and setting your own expectation as a communicator is one of the most important skill set in clarifying thinking map. As being said, the audience can be professional who need more detail. So we must clarify and interpret expression and idea with such specific pieces of information with good claims and reasons. However, if the audience is someone who has zero clue or idea of the case, then only a little information is needed. Third, given the audience what will provide sufficient clarification for presenting purposes in which It is divided into two sections: possible sources of clarification and way of clarifying term and idea. We move to possible sources of clarification. Can be a dictionary definition that reports novel usage, or it can be a definition or explanation from an authority in the field that reports narrow down and specialized usage, and a decision on the meaning of stipulating meaning. Way of clarifying terms and ideas, on the other hand, can be done by giving a synonymous expression or paraphrase, giving necessary and sufficient condition, or an if and only if definition, giving clear example and non-example, drawing contrast, and explaining the history of expression. Last but not least, when clarifying and interpreting expression and idea, we must know how much detail is needed by this particular audience and in this particular situation. As I have mentioned above, if the audience is someone who has zero idea of the case, then only a little information is needed. But if the audience is professional, you need to provide them more information. Well, I have covered the point that I needed to present today. Thank you, class, for participating, and I would be very interested to hear your comment and your question. Thank you very much.